Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jobless MA, the highest level of cage fighting discourse on the internet. Make sure to like and subscribe. If you do, I'll have my secretary send the Addy for my next Rager.
Boys, we are back with another video. It's Saturday night right now. UFC 325 just happened. And I'm going to be real with you guys. I fell asleep and I missed like damn near everything, okay? I missed like all the prelims. I fucking watched Con Offley. That was the only fucking fight I watched. Everything else, I was asleep for. It is what it is. Wasn't the most exciting card. You know, I wasn't super duper hyped up for the card. And I think it's indicative of a broader trend, which is low key. I don't really like Australia cards. They aren't usually the best. They usually put up a bunch of guys, you know, that really shouldn't be on pay-per-views. And a big thing is because people don't want to go fight in Australia because of the taxes, right? So when we do get foreign fighters who go over to Australia, it is kind of cool, you know. Shout out to Fazeev, Rufy, you know, BSD. These are guys that normally guys like this are not willing to pop out to Australia to fight, you know, get all their money taken from taxes, go to the other side of the world, hostile environment, all these things, right? Anyways, I was exchanging a text with my boy and I was like, yo, dude, I should do UFC fighters I would run a two-man with. So this is my homie. We're going to call him Austin. Austin is one of my best friends at day one. Day one, you know, he's a Jewish guy. We've been friends forever, dude, since we were like 11 years old. We used to run a lot of two-mans back in the day, high school in particular. We would, you know, get the fireplace going. We'd have some drinks. You know, we'd be smoking, and we would text every girl we fucking know. He'd be like, yo, I'm over here at Jobless's house. Like, come over here, pop out. And I'd be like, yo, I'm here with Austin. You know, you got a friend, blah, blah, blah. Guys, this worked quite a lot. We were a couple of knuckleheads back in the day. We still are, if we're just being honest here. Yeah, they would come through 3, 4 a.m., like some serious covert, you know, stealth operations, Delta Force Maduro type of tech. And we thought we were being slick, you know, and my mom didn't know. But when I got older, my mom told me, she was like, I always knew you guys were having girls over, but, you know, boys are going to be boys. My mom's a real team player. Shout out to my mom. Absolutely love you. But without further ado, we're going to get into this video, okay? UFC fighters I would run a two-man with. This is not going to be a tier list. I'm just going to be talking about guys I would run a two-man with. If you guys want to see a full expansion on this topic, I can definitely do that. You know, but I just wanted to do kind of like a top 10 list loosely. Starting off very, very strong one. We got Dracus Duplessis. I would run a two-man with Dracus any day of the week, okay? He's got really everything you're looking for in a two-man partner. Good-looking guy, you know, funny, very silly, definitely has that killer instinct. Like when the girls are over, you know, we're pushing the fight to a finish, okay? We're not trying to sit around and talk about, you know, what her ex-boyfriend did and school and all these things. Like, yeah, we'll do that, like, you know, innocuously, but like, guys, we're trying to get laid. This is a fucking two-man. And Dracus seems like the type of guy, he could totally convert on this. You know what I mean? Seems like a goon. He would do some dumb shit. He has the type of humor that these sort of loose moral women are looking for. Would absolutely love to run a two-man with him. In a similar light, we've got a newer guy, Josh Hokett. Okay, I would love to run a two-man with Josh Hokett. He's very, very silly, very, very stupid. You know what I mean? He's the type of guy who, like, you're at a pool party, he's like taking his shirt off, belly flopping in the pool, you know, doing all types of dumb shit. A real goon, okay? He's the type of guy, once he starts drinking, you can never reel this guy back in. You're like, this guy's a fucking idiot, but girls would love him. Girls would love him. He seems like he has a very, very kindergarten, you know, sense of humor, very, very immature, and they like that. You know what I mean? He'd be doing funny little voices, you know, he'd be smacking people with towels, all types of shit. My homie, okay? Josh Hokett was definitely a guy I would be boys with at the end of the day. Up next, channel legend, guys. The subject of my first video ever. We love him. We love him. Jamal Hit. And we bring you live from the UFC Apex, Jamal Hill. Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill, former light heavyweight champion. Yes, Jamal Hill. I'm running a two-man with him every single day of the week. Jamal Hill reminds me of this guy I used to run two-mans with in college. We're going to call him Kyrie, okay? Kyrie is a black guy, football player, safety on the football team. And me and him used to link up in college. We'd smoke a bunch of weed, and we would run hella two-mans, okay? Because as you guys know, some of the channel lore here on Jobless, I do like the chocolate women. Kyrie really, really liked the Latina women. So I had a lot of connections with the Latina women. He had a lot of connections with chocolate women, you know, some athletes and stuff. So we would run two-mans like that. We'd have him over to my place. He would take, you know, the white girl or the Latina girl. It was a very symbiotic relationship. This guy's an absolute chiller. I hope he's doing well. I haven't talked to him in a while, but very, very smart guy. I think he's doing quite well, you know, in business and stuff now. So, yeah, Jamal Hill reminds me of Kyrie. You know, kind of a silly black dude, tall guy. And he seems like we could have that type of relationship where I'm getting him some white women and, you know, he's getting me some chocolate shorties, some light skin shorties. Like, very, very awesome. And yeah, Jamal Hill also has that silly side I'm looking for. I'm a very, very silly guy myself, especially when I'm drinking, when I'm with the girls. So I think that Jamal Hill could totally work for this. You know, we'd be doing little dances, little jigs and stuff, you know. We'd be giving the girls lap dances, being like strippers and stuff. It'd be very, very fun. Okay, so Jamal Hill definitely gets there. Up next, a guy that we know, okay? And let me say, I fucking called this, boys. I put this guy in S tier on my UFC fighters I would sleep with if I was a woman video, right? I did it, okay? I put him in the S tier. And then like 4 days later, it's announced that he's dating Tracy Cortez. Hey, I got that crystal ball. I'm the fucking oracle of MMA, okay? So yeah, Alex Pereira, definitely I'm running a two-man with him. He's got that stoic but kind of nice guy energy. Okay, he would feel like a protector. You know, girls are attracted by that. Like no bullshit's going down when you're around Alex, but at the same time, very very stoic, very mysterious. They would love that. They'd be prying, picking and prying out. I'm trying to get him to say some weird shit, trying to get him to talk about himself, but he would just be like chill. You know what I mean? And it would totally work, guys. Good looking guy too, very very jacked, and obviously we know he has hella fucking game, hella game. So chilling with Alex would be tough, bro. I bet you he has so many shorties in his DMs. Doesn't matter what city we're in America. Like he's getting some bitches to pull up. So Alex Pereira definitely running it with him. Up next, Paulo Costa Boachina. Yes, definitely running a two man with him. He reminds me of my homie. I told you guys I used to live in Latin America, and I have a homie named Raul. Okay, and Raul is a fucking idiot, absolute goon. When you go out with Raul and Raul has some drinks, there's no stopping him. Okay, he's gonna say some of the most flagrant, offensive shit ever in front of anybody at max volume. Doesn't give a fuck. He's fighting anybody. I've been around Raul getting in some fights before, like 2 or 3 times. Like this guy will start scrapping. You know what I mean? And Paulo Costa really, really reminds me of him. I remember one time I was at a football game with Raul, and Raul had a lot of drinks, guys. And there's a dynamic that would always go down where I become Raul's handler. Okay, he's flying off the rails, doing some really, really stupid shit, and I'm always like reeling him back in. Like I'm covering his mouth with my hand. I'm like apologizing to the people that he's verbally accosting. Yeah, we were at a football game, and he started yelling some slurs, let's call it slurs, about one of the players when there was a lady right next to us who was wearing that player's jersey. Okay. And we actually think in retrospect that might have been the player's mom. Okay. So he was saying all these crazy things. He's a F word. He's this, he's that. I've seen him in San Francisco going down on men, all this shit, dude. The lady started getting so pissed. He's a peak rage baiter. Okay. And I was like, listen, my buddy Raul, he's a good kid. He's just had too much to drink. I'm going to take him home right now. And I'm like really escalating. And then he's like behind me and he's like, I fucking meant it. So yeah, Paulo Costa reminds me of Raul. Very, very stupid, good looking guy. I like he wears the white dress shirts. That's very, very good game. Okay. White dress shirt unbuttoned. That is like classic game. That's pool party game right there. That's game 101. So shout out to Paulo Costa. He's making the list. Up next, we're on a run here of a couple Brazilian guys that are all pretty much the same on this list. Johnny Walker. Yeah, I'm running a two man with Johnny Walker. No fucking doubt. Very, very fun guy. Has the dance moves. He's pulling out the worm at the party, doing stupid shit. Similar to Costa, he's probably wearing like a dress shirt, letting buttons go down as he drinks more and more. That's kind of a rule, guys. Each drink you have, especially if you're day drinking, you undo a button on the shirt. After like 8 drinks, your fucking shirt's wide open, okay? So yeah, Johnny Walker, used to be a stripper, definitely would bring out his moves in the two man with the ladies, giving them lap dances, doing all types of crazy shit, right? We're listening to like some fucking crazy 90s R&B, I'm just a bachelor looking for a partner. And he's popping out, he's doing all types of dumb shit. Yeah, and I don't need to tell that guy any tips on, how to get the shorties. So yeah, Johnny Walker, we're running a two man. Up next, the third guy of the Brazilian two-man trio, of course, Michel Pereira. Michel Pereira pretty much the exact same as Johnny Walker, okay? Probably has the exact same type of game. He's got that stripper game. He's taking his shirt off. He's dancing and shit. Very, very silly guy, very funny guy, definitely, likes to pull pranks and stuff. He has great energy at the end of the day. Very, very positive energy. Very, very, it just radiates off the guy. You know what I mean? You can't help but smile when you see him running around, dancing, doing his little thing. So easily running a two-man with Michel Demolador, okay? No fucking doubt about it. Up next, very, very interesting guy on this list, okay? The only guy on the list that I would consider to be a nice guy, okay? Like a classic nice guy. But I think that he's got the type of nice guy brand that works for getting laid in one night. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I'm running a two-man with him, no doubt. He's got that type of, energy where he'll be like a little mini therapist, okay? Like she'll be talking about her mom or her dad's in jail or some shit or some stupid shit like that. Wonderboy Thompson would totally be like, yes, of course, of course. And guys, it would probably fucking work, okay? I think he's a nice guy, but I think he's got that edge to him where like he would be able to convert, this venture into some two-man action. He takes one shorty, takes my brother's room. I take the other shorty, I take my room. Bada bing, bada boom. Very, very nice guy, but I think that he's a very, very charismatic, nice guy, not like a, off-putting, nice guy, weird and shit. So Wonderboy Thompson, I'm running a two-man with him, no doubt. Up next, we have got the exact opposite of Wonderboy Thompson, okay? Brian T. City Ortega, a classic option, right? Absolute total fuckboy, okay? Like, I would never have to give this guy tips on being like, yo, bro, you need to like try to make a move. You need to like try to isolate her, go dance with her or something. This guy, he would be giving me, dude, totally. He'd be giving me advice, and being like, bro, you're doing it wrong. This is what you got to do, bro. And he's just, sitting back in the cut, leaning against the bar, just talking to five girls at one time. Complete goon. Totally running a two-man with this guy. I mean, probably an absolute legend in the two-man category. He's 35 years old. He's still doing it like he's never left, absolute gamesman, showman, someone I'm definitely doing it with. Up next, classic kind of frat boy two-man partner. We got Colby Chaos Covington. I think he's great. I think he's a douche, but he's the type of douche that a girl would like, kind of a nice guy at the end of the day, teasing, saying some funny shit, but at the same time, not like being like this super, what's the word? Swarmy kind of just like creep. You know what I mean? Like grabbing stuff and all these things. I've seen that at nightclubs and shit, guys. You can be a douche, but be nice, okay? Be a nice douche, okay? A little bit of best of both worlds in that situation. I think that he's totally the type of guy, that this would work with. Very, very silly guy, probably would like throw some water balloons at people at the pool party, go hide behind someone, on some stupid shit. Very, very fun guy, but a douche at the end of the day. But that's what you kind of need. We need this killer instinct because, it's not a double date, guys. This is a two-man. We're trying to get laid at the end of the day. Up next, and my final entrant for the video, guys, Sugar Sean O'Malley. Sugar Sean O'Malley, definitely, we're running it. Very silly guy, we've seen, he would definitely make some funny faces at the girls. This was a pool party. He'd go like, strip down to his underwear and put like some goggles on and like fucking pencil dive in off the diving board like a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? But definitely with his open relationship, I know he's very, very down for this type of tech. He's got the tattoos. He's got the crazy hair. He'd be very, very interesting, for a girl who's looking to like get with a fucking idiot. Because sometimes girls are just looking to get with like an absolute dumbass. Okay, like a Colby Covington type. They're like, I know this guy's a dumbass, but I want to get with him. So yeah, Sean O'Malley, we're running it for sure. We could definitely, after the girls leave like 4 a.m., bro, we Uber eats like some Waffle House or some shit. We're smoking blunts. We're fucking playing one-on-one, on like Rust or something, quick scopes only. Okay, that shit would be fucking lit. So Sean O'Malley, no doubt, he gets a spot on this video today. And that's going to be the video, guys. So I really, really wanted to do this one. I think that it totally fits the direction we've been going in on this channel. Let me know if you guys want me to expand it into a full video, of course. Yeah, I've been thinking more and more about the type of content I'm making. I think people are tending to react better to like kind of these more silly kind of broader, kind of dumb videos at the end of the day. I do like this is a channel though, guys. I wouldn't say this channel has any focus. I kind of just do whatever the fuck I want. You know what I mean? I've made some serious, kind of like mini documentary videos. I've made fight predictions, a lot of, stupid kind of meme videos like this. I've made some compilations, some shorts too. Like I'm kind of just finding my footing here. Okay. So I think that this type of video is probably the closest to my niche, but I'm going to keep making, all types of random bullshit, guys. And you guys let me know what you want to see from me, another journeyman video, a good video idea, any of this type of shit. And man, I'll be receptive, dude. I'm always on these comments, I am pretty happy with how things are going. But that's been it, man. This is Jobless MMA. Really, really appreciate you guys. Peace.